Hello, my name is Jim Riley, and I'd like to welcome to all of you to the 2022 State of the City Address. It's been a few years since we've been able to hold this event. The pandemic presented many challenges to all of us, especially local government. The City of Independence made it through the tough times and came out better and stronger due to the many people that you'll be hearing from today that will be serving you. With that being said, it's an honor and a privilege to introduce the City of Independence's longest-serving mayor, Mayor Gregory P. Kurtz.
Thanks, Jimmy. Hello and welcome to the 2022 State of the City Address. It's just wonderful to see so many friends and family and business associates. It's great to have everybody back in public. Isn't it wonderful? My wife, Lynn, couldn't be here. She's in Florida. She's assisting others, and I can tell you from the conversations we've had, it's devastating. It's absolutely devastating for those that are affected. Fortunately, we weren't, but for those that were, it's a tragedy. We all have to reach out and support others. Let's begin by recognizing a few people that are with us today. You know, our finance director, Vern Blaze, I didn't see him running this morning, so I knew something was wrong. Apparently, he came a little ill. Unless he runs in here in the next couple of minutes, he's not going to be here, but we'll adjust. Councilman Tom Narduzzi, Anthony Tagliati, Jim Tracus, and Dale Vaverka. From the schools, we have Superintendent Ben Hagedish, Treasurer Eric Kohler, Director of Pupil Services Sandy McCullough. We have the middle school principal, Jamie Vanek. From the Board of Education, Vice President Lynn Lasky. We have board members Carrie Sears, Andrea Merrick, and Ron Bernstein. From the Independence Boards and Commissions, we have Planning Commission member Joe Moeller. And we also have Pete Nelson. Where's Pete? Former police chief. He's on the Civil Service Commission, or fire chief. Sorry. All those guys in the corner over there, they got all excited for crying out loud. Okay. Zoning Board and Appeals, Carol Fortledge and Charlie Brett. I also want to thank the businesses that are represented here today. We have CSA Group. We have CBiz, Reliability First, Cresco Realty, Lee & Associates, MAI Capital, and IDR Investments. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize all the hardworking directors. They're lined up in the back. They're donned with their little aprons, and I'll put mine on in a few minutes. We'll be serving you. And also all the city employees, some that are here and some are out working, providing services today. They make this all possible. So we'll just say thank you to them once, twice, 3 times, half a dozen times, because without them, none of this works. So before we start lunch, I'd like to have the Reverend Michelle Thompson from the Rockside Church who'll deliver a prayer.
Thank you. Let's bow our heads today. Heavenly Father, we come here today to celebrate our great city, our mayor and other public officials, and to share in the power of vision, community, and purpose. We who are blessed to live in this beautiful place must find time to see you, O God, in the beauty of nature, our neighborhoods, in the towering buildings, and in the faces of our leaders and our fellow citizens. Governance is all too often a thankless task. In our coming together today, let us not forget to give thanks for those who work to ensure that our great city of Independence will serve as a model of safety, cultural and educational excellence, financial growth, and sacred communion with every person created in God's image. May we remember today and every day that we are different and that we are alike, that we all love, that we all hurt, and that we all care deeply about things that matter. Let every stranger become our neighbor and every visitor be our guest. Let us treat each other with kindness, compassion, and respect. so that we may learn from one another, discover our shared vision, and build a stronger community for all who live here. Above all, may ours be a city of peace, a place that helps us to uphold our values and in which we are all free to live our dreams and offer our gifts and our service to this, our community. We ask your blessing on this gathering today, on our mayor and on our leaders, and upon us all. We also ask for a blessing on this food and for the hands that prepared it. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Well, okay now. How was lunch? How? The question is, how was the service? Well, if it was that good, where are the tips? That will rely on the business section of this community to help us with the tip department. Just give us good advice, keep paying your taxes. No, you're doing a great job. No tips required. Today I'll be delivering my first State of the City address since re-elected in 2019. We have emerged stronger, smarter, and more adaptable than ever before. One of the lessons I've learned in my many years as public service as your mayor is that my job is to listen, learn, and lead. During the past 2 years, the city has worked on refreshing our brand to remind people about everything the city offers and what differentiates Independence from other communities. Here's our new position statement on the screen. Independence is a vibrant community that carefully balances quiet, charming neighborhoods with bustling business districts. The city's collaborative nature and a superior location attracts and maintains a robust business community, which in turn provides a foundation for safe, harmonious living with an abundance of high-quality services and amenities for its residents. Whether it's your home, headquarters, or a place to work, Independence works hard to instill an experience that never leaves you. Every word of our statement rings true. Despite the uncertainties and challenges of the past 3 years, the Economic Development Department seized on a number of opportunities to attract and retain businesses. Jessica Heiser, our Economic Development Director, joins us now with more information. Jessica? Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. I started in this role in June of 2020, and since then, I've been able to establish a team to help retain and grow our tax base, which provides for the services that sets Independence apart. Annie Lynch joined the city in March of 2021 as the Economic Development Specialist and now also serves as City Planner. Irene Kalal joined the team in June of 2022 in the Economic Development Coordinator position, and in that role helps us by being the boots on the ground, knocking on each business's door. With their assistance, there are many things we have been able and excited about to celebrate, despite the obvious challenges. From an economic development perspective, we always look to attract new businesses and retain and expand businesses that are already in our community. I'd like to talk to you about some of those project wins. From the business attraction perspective, we were able to bring Garland Industries to Independence. Established in 1895 in Cleveland, Garland is a leader in the industrial roofing and industrial commercial roofing industry. Garland moved its headquarters to Independence to Rockside Road and committed to bringing $4 million in payroll. In their first year in Independence, its payroll more than doubled to $9 million. Independence's premier location also played a key role in attracting one of the region's fastest growing wealth management advisory firms, MAI Capital. MAI, with its roots tying it to IMG, the sports management and marketing firm, committed to bringing with it approximately 130 employees and $16.5 million in payroll. But if you read Cranes, you'll know that MII is rapidly growing and likely will exceed those expectations. Jim Kasich is here with us today. Thank you for trusting us and locating here in Independence. Gray Media, one of the nation's third largest owner of local television stations, is anticipating building a broadcast center in Independence to operate their WOIO, WUAB, and WTCL TV stations on the property adjacent to Topgolf. This will also coincide with the relocation of approximately 140 employees and bring with it a payroll of approximately $14 million. Gray recognizes the great location Independence provides, easy access to serve their 17-county media market, which stretches from Ashland to Ashtabula and all the way south to Tuscarawas County. As happy as we are about new companies coming to Independence, we are equally excited to see companies with roots here continue to invest here. We are excited to be able to retain one of our top 10 taxpayers, CBiz, a company which has been headquartered in Independence for more than 25 years. CBiz will be the lead tenant in the first new Class A office building constructed in Independence in more than 20 years. They will relocate approximately 200 employees with a payroll of $20 million in the new space in 2023. The city's economic development and engineering departments have been working with Welty, the building's owner and developer, on building a public parking lot on the adjoining property. I'd like to thank our friends at CBiz for their continued support and commitment to Independence. Brian Antonius and his team are here with us today. Thank you. Recently, there are a number of Independence businesses that have been able to grow and expand. Redwood Living moved to Independence in 2017 and has continued to grow. In 2021, Redwood officially moved into their new headquarters on East Pleasant Valley. They transformed the dated and inefficient former ADP building into a collaborative workspace for their team, and since then have expanded in that space. Redwood is a developer and manager of ranch-style apartment homes. CSA, which is based in Toronto and has an Independence facility that serves as their U.S. headquarters. In 2020, CSA purchased the building adjacent to their facility on East Pleasant Valley. They demoed the building, and the new, larger facility will serve as their battery testing facility. This facility is supposed to employ an additional 20 staff members with a payroll of approximately $1.9 million. CSA will celebrate the opening of this new facility in November. Rich Weiser is here with us today. Rich, thank you for continuing to invest in our community. The city has also been able to capitalize on some opportunities to position ourselves for the future. In April of 2021, we were able to close on the Kindle property, which will play a key role in the downtown redevelopment. With a single ownership, the city is looking to find a developer who will partner with the city to redevelop the downtown for mixed use, retail, office, and housing. In the meantime, the property is paying for itself. In 2021, the city was able to renegotiate with Topgolf and reduce the upfront cash payment of $1 million by $300,000 and further spread those payments out over 2 years, making 3 separate payments. We were able to bring the city's physical planning functions in-house to enhance the experience of those doing business within our community. The city sees the opportunity to afford an existing staff member with the technical skills and abilities to take over this position. This move also allows the city to benefit from having a planner in the city on a daily basis. One of the first projects you'll see our new city planners mark on is the Maple Shade Cemetery expansion. Annie worked with the engineering department to find a solution to the city's dwindling cemetery plots. She developed a plan to install columbarium walls in the cul-de-sac, which will be installed next year, as well as looked at the cemetery's design to expand traditional burial options. As any of us with small children or who have been out on a long hike know, it's comforting to have restroom options. The city is looking at ways to provide a comfort station along the Hemlock Creek Trail. Annie has been working with the Recreation and Technical Services departments on options which we hope to discuss in the near future. Just a few short weeks ago, the city sponsored its second restaurant week. The program was developed at the request of our local restaurants who were suffering as a result of the pandemic. The goal of the program is to bring awareness to and support of the city's more than 50 restaurants. We all know Independence is a great place to live and work, but making sure the experience of getting to where you need to be is key to maintaining that same feel for people who are not as familiar with Independence as we are. We've developed a wayfinding and placemaking program that will help people get to where they are going much easier by utilizing appropriately sized and located signs and markers. We hope to roll out elements of this plan beginning in the spring, including dividing Rockside Road into color-coded quadrants. One last accomplishment of note, something that I'm particularly proud of, is our collaboration with the Independence local schools. We've been working with the school's leadership and building connections between the city's diverse business community and district students and educators. These are only a few of the projects undertaken. Despite the uncertainty and challenges presented with the new work model, there's still progress and opportunities to shape our future.
Thank you, Jess. And thank you for the local businesses' participation again. Sound fiscal management has never been more crucial than during the past 2 turbulent years. Increased income tax rates, or interest rates, I should say, stubborn inflation, and new tax laws have created headwinds and challenges for all cities. This year, the Auditor of State, the office responsible for auditing all public offices in Ohio, expanded their scope, and Independence was in the 10-year cycle. So every 10 years, they had the state auditor audits. In the interim years, a private firm they hire comes in and audits. So when they come in every 10 years, they do a very thorough audit. When you're done, if you don't have a finding for recovery, that's a good audit. We didn't have a finding for recovery. Thank you, finance team and Financer Blaze. So we get through the audit, and we also have the HIDA audit, and that took a year. So we've been thoroughly reviewed this past year, and I can't thank the Maggie Cisco and her team, along with the finance director Blaze. He would be here, but he's under the weather. Revenue, we have a few slides to show. Revenue is, as they said at one of the, I'm on the income tax board that reviews income taxes for the Mayor's Association. And so we have these meetings to figure out what our strategy is going to be to defend our turf, so to speak. And one of the things that the RITA representative said to me recently is, you know, Independence, you're holding your own. And I think that with this such turbulent times, we're holding our own. I think as of a couple months ago, we're down $500,000 on $35 million in income tax. So we're holding our own. I anticipate that to continue to go down a little bit more, but as you can tell through our economic development strategy, we're doing everything we can to find new and develop new opportunities in our community. Hotel tax, we're all aware of what happened with COVID. Looking, you can see in 2020, it decreased tremendously. That's the 3% tax that we get on every hotel bed that's leased out. So, but it's on the rebound. Operating expenditures, obviously, when you're trying to build the future and you're trying to build a bench for future service and future leaders, it costs more. And everybody in business, everybody at home knows what you're dealing with when it comes to buying gas, paying for any type of service, if you can get the service. Fortunately, we've been very effective in trying to have our own people do more work, and it's served us well. But there are challenges on the horizon as well from a cost standpoint. Our debt, though, we've been very successful in reducing our debt, about $10 million, which is going to serve us well as we go to market to finance more projects in the future. So we're at least we're stable in that respect. The finance department they do a great job. And Vern Blaze has done a wonderful job informing council. And you as residents, and anyone receives our weekly update, he has a weekly update on the finance department, something that's new. So if you ever want to know about something with the finance department, you can go to our weekly update and you can read the finance director's report. It's very comprehensive. Now moving on, as safety director, my first priority is protecting our residents, the staff, and our stakeholders. The City of Independence is blessed to have two strong public safety chiefs who work very hard every day to serve and protect our residents and stakeholders. I want to commend Police Chief Robert Butler and Fire Chief Steve Riga and their men and women of our force, our police and fire departments, for all they do to keep us safe. When COVID hit, there was and there is no playbook. Our frontline public safety staff quickly adapted to be in compliance with public health orders and safety measures. Here is Chief Steve Riga.
So at the Independence Fire Department, we're a 24-hour operation. We offer 3 operational shifts with 31 people in the staff of our department. We've seen a big changeover in the last couple of years with the retirement of 3 full-time members, and they were replaced by 5 new members. So we actually increased our staffing slightly, and that's helped us to provide a greater service to the community. We operate more safely. We've been able to handle more calls and also do a lot more in terms of training. Also, Debbie Casantini, our administrative assistant, retired about 1.5 years ago. She had been with us for 21 years, dedicated service. Our role as firefighters is constantly changing. There's been significant advances in the technologies that we use for firefighting, the equipment we use, the personal protective equipment, the codes and standards that we follow, and the procedures that we do, great advances in that. In terms of the emergency medical services that we provide, they've changed drastically over the years. The level of knowledge and skill that we need to have today is much different than it was many, many years ago. We carry a lot more medications. We are able to do a lot more procedures. In a sense, in some ways, we're actually doing what they do in an emergency department to get them to that facility. We now offer a great number of programs that allow residents to stay in their homes longer, such as smoke detector programs to keep them safe in their homes, CO detector programs, as well as safety programs where we can go in, look at the home, and offer safety recommendations to change their home to make it safer for them. And another example is our Lifeline program. It is an emergency alert button that a resident would wear. If they happen to fall and can't get up, they're able to press that button and emergency services will be contacted. In some cases, they can just have a loved one called to come by and help them, or in an emergency situation, they would get the police or fire department depending on what they need. It's just one example of how we've tried to make it possible for them to stay longer in their homes. COVID was a challenge for all of us, but especially the frontline workers in the EMS field. There was days when we really didn't know what we were up against. I can't understand how things changed quickly from day to day. So in the early days of the virus, we not only had to figure out ways to keep our community safe, but also to keep our personnel safe. One of the changes with COVID is us having to wear masks on every EMS call. That's something that we continue to do to this day, and it's just standard procedure from now on. Independence has always been a leader in providing vaccinations and point of dispensing for medications. As COVID hit, there was a need for not only COVID vaccinations, but also flu vaccinations. So in the early days, we did offer a drive-through vaccination site for flu vaccines, and then a few months later, we were one of the first departments to offer COVID vaccinations for emergency personnel. And then from there, we went on to help other communities, such as Broadview Heights, Brecksville, to help put on their vaccination sites and also county sites as well. So in 2020, we took delivery of a new fire engine. This was a project that was moved up 2 years on our 5-year budget plan, mainly because of the EPA requirements for the reuse of some of the components. In the end, we saved over $130,000 on the build of this vehicle. Today, there's been over 18% increase in what would have been the cost of that vehicle. So we're proud to say that we avoided a lot of those costs. Many people may not be aware of this, but the Independence Fire Department was one of the first departments in the country to start a drone program back in 2015. So in late 2020, we replaced our aging drone with a new advanced drone, which had much better capabilities and technology. This drone features a more advanced camera system, providing both high-resolution photo and video photography, as well as thermal imaging. Thermal imaging is good for finding hotspots in fires, or finding a missing person lost in the woods. Our pilot assistant chief, Jim Wheeler, uses the drone for department incidents and other city events. We also use it to assist other community departments, such as economic development, communications, the rec department, and our police department. You've probably seen many of Jim's photos on the Independence Post, Community Spotlight, or city website. So our role as firefighters is constantly changing, but we're here to serve you, so call us if you need us.
Thank you, Chief Riga, and thank you to our members of our fire department. Robert Butler was appointed Chief of Police 1 year ago. He has been a tremendous addition to our team. He is not afraid to tackle difficult issues or have tough conversations. Chief, I have a question that's on everybody's mind. How are we addressing crime in our community?
We have had some crime that I'm sure everyone has been aware of. At the end of the day, it's the nature of the beast. It is where we are located. Times are different. We have been hit by carjackings. We've been hit by some car thefts. You have to remember, a lot of times this is happening in other communities. I'll give you an example. We did have a carjacking. These individuals that we arrested not only were committing crimes in Westlake, Rocky River, Solon, Cleveland Heights, in many different cities, but our department was one of the leaders to coordinate the arrest of these dangerous individuals. So while crime, absolutely, while crime might happen, I want you to all know that our officers are diligent, they work extremely hard, and we put the bad guys behind bars. We did this with the bank robbery. We did this with the carjacking. Our officers want to make sure our streets are safe. So when a crime is committed, we make sure that we're on it for you. I want to tell you about some of the other things that we've taken care of here as a department to make sure we're in the best position to keep our families safe. First and foremost, we have been doing a restructuring in the last year. We've added more officers to the road and more supervisors. That's more eyes, more boots on the grounds. You can see here in a picture here of the police promotions. We've promoted sergeants, we've promoted lieutenants, we've promoted seasoned officers to ranks to help mentor our officers, give them direction. It has worked out phenomenally. By adding these extra officers and extra supervisors, there's a few numbers I want to point out to you. First is traffic stops. While we're not always so focused on writing the ticket, we care tremendously about safety, stopping individuals that are speeding, that are reckless. In 2022, we had 51% more traffic stops than in previous years. In fact, we've had more traffic stops in 2022 than 2020 and 21 combined. So our officers are out there. They're stopping the speeders. They're stopping those that might put our families at risk. Now, they can't be everywhere at once. Just because you don't see them every day on every street doesn't mean they're not making it around. They have their moving radars and they're keeping an eye out for those that are choosing to keep others at risk by violating traffic laws. One last one for that, we've also had a 25% increase in drunk driver arrests this year. One of the strategic ways to keep officers on the road was by adding a night jailer. What happened before was if an officer arrested somebody and took them back to our jail in Independence, they would have to book this person in, they'd have to get them processed. This whole thing could take about an hour, keeping an officer off the road. Instead, now we have a night jailer. When the officer pulls in, the jailer meets him at his car, takes the suspect, and books him in, allows that officer to get right back out on the road, watching our community, watching our streets. It has been an invaluable addition to our department. Also, one last shout out too to somebody who was added to our department. Reverend Thompson has joined us as our chaplain. So we'd like to thank her for joining on with us. Training has been a big focus in 2022. Not only are we hosting state and national law enforcement training, many of you might have seen different police cars parked in front of our Civic and our rec center because we want to be the center of police training. But we also send our officers out for additional training. One training that I'm especially proud of is our Crisis Intervention Team training. This is called a CIT. This is to deal with people in mental health crisis. how to de-escalate them and help them, get them the help that they need. Before November of 2021, we did not have any officers trained in this. At this date, we have 25% of our department trained in it, and we expect to have the entire department trained in this valuable skill set before the end of 2024. In addition, we've had other trainings, but that's one I really want to focus on, and we are happy that our officers are so committed to helping those that might be going through mental health crisis. Officers have been out and about in the community and in our schools. Foot patrols has been a very important focus to me. Many of you might not know, but I started my career on foot. I had a beat in Cleveland Heights. I walked the business community. I engaged with the residents, and it's something I'm very passionate about. Our officers this year are focused on walking the parks, walking the trails, walking the business community, and walking around the swimming pool. We're around. We want to interact. We want to build bridges. Communication is the most important thing that we can do. You see us, we're there, we're ready to speak to you. And not only outside, but inside with the schools. In the schools, we've done everything from video game tournaments to ALICE trainings to doing the morning announcements. We partner with our schools because we want our children to know us. They know our officers' names. They know we're here to help them. And that has been very important to us and something we have a lot more for 2023 planned. Not just all the great stuff in 2022, like the free bike helmets that we gave out to our children so that they could ride safely, our female jogger self-defense class that we are hosting tonight, but many more things to come in 2023. I want to touch upon quickly technology. Our flock cameras that council and the mayor purchased have been invaluable. They've been used to solve bank robberies, car thefts, and many other crimes throughout the city. In 2023, I have my eye on blue light CCTV cameras. You'll see those up there. These are live look cameras that scan around. We will then have one of our jailers or another member of our staff monitoring these cameras when they can. When you see the blue light around our town, you'll know that either somebody is watching or it's being recorded. That way, we can keep our residents safe, and if a crime does happen, we can utilize these tools to put those behind bars. Finally, I want to talk about the future. 2023, I am looking to partner with council on talking about a feasibility plan and blueprints for a new police station. Our current police station has served us very well for 40 years. We want one that is going to be serving us for 40 years into the future. I think everyone in this room knows the difficulties of being a police officer in the last 10 years. Things have changed. Technology is changing. We need a station that is going to grow with us and the way things are going to grow in the future. Other communities have already jumped onto this. Brecksville, Cleveland, Mayfield Village, Middleburg Heights, Rocky River, Cuyahoga Heights, Newburgh Heights. Those are some of the new stations in the past few years. These are direct competitions to us to attract the elite officers to join our team with the brave men and women that already serve our department. This is something that can help us recruit, retain, and get us the technology we want in the future. Lastly, I just want to thank City Council, the mayor, for helping us staff, keeping our officers on the road. We're doing our laterals right now. Today it closes, and we look forward to a great and safe 2023. Thank you.
Now you know why he's chief. Actually, if you get a second, have him tell some of the stories of some of the arrests we've made and how the flock cameras have been so instrumental in helping our team investigate and research and arrest. It's phenomenal what technology is doing to help our police department. Next, over the past few years, the city has invested millions of dollars in infrastructure projects. With the help of council, we've been able to spend a lot of money in roads, sewers, and sidewalks. I want to thank the residents, businesses, and commuters for their patience. There's an old adage, a temporary inconvenience for a permanent improvement. That holds true in every construction project, and we are not immune to that. That being said, we make sure that the traffic is flowing as quickly as possible through these construction zones. We've completed, in the last couple of years, we've completed 18 miles of road work. We've installed and repaired nearly 32,000 square feet of sidewalks. We've replaced more than 7,000 feet of storm sewers and nearly 7,000 feet of water mains. Other projects in collaboration with the county, for example, they are helping us develop and rebuild the bridge on Old Brecksville Road, Old Rockside Road. That's under construction. It's due to be completed in 2024. Also with ODOT, there are several projects. ODOT, we have the ramp extension and widening of I-77. That's an ODOT project. And we also, if you've driven northbound on Brecksville Road, you go through the traffic where it's one lane, and they're rebuilding Brecksville Road Bridge over I-480. Now, let me give you a little fun view of what I-480 looks like today using our drone. You'll see, what you see is the traffic going away from us is eastbound. The traffic coming towards us is westbound. Those are the two original bridges that were built in 1973. Today, they have the new center bridge constructed. You ask, why would they spend $200 and some odd million to build a new bridge? Because when they did their reviews, there were no roads available, no infrastructure projects capable of handling the traffic that goes on I-480 a year. They couldn't upgrade Granger, Rockside, any of those roads. So they had to build a new bridge. The center bridge, you can see what they're going to do, what they're doing right now is installing a middle barrier wall in the middle of that bridge so that when it's completed, there will be 2 more lanes in each direction. If you're on that center bridge and you don't have to get off at I-77 or any of the exits, you'll stay in the center lane, and it'll get you all the way east side to west side or west side to east side. You stay in those center lanes. If you have to get off to get on 77 or to get off at one of the exits, you'll use the original bridges. So it should help us from a safety standpoint, and we know that between police and fire, it is treacherous up there on the bridge at times. But going back to a little more grounded, let's just deal with a little more grounded view of what's going on in terms of locally. The 480 bridge, oh, by the way, I know what I wanted to ask. How many cars go across the bridge a day? Any idea? Now, Chief, so you don't count. For those that you don't know, that don't work in that industry, how many cars do you think go across the I-480 bridge on a daily basis? Do I hear 100,000? Do I hear 150,000? 150, 160? Oh, that's right, in the back, there we go. 160,000, on its peak, it's 180,000 cars a day. Now, as point of reference, I-77, it's about 140, at a peak 150,000 a day. That's what our police and fire departments are responsible for on a daily basis because of the safety concerns. All those people, we're responsible for them when they come through our city. That's why we have to have a police department, fire department, the size that can handle that type of traffic. You know, we're also working in collaboration with ODOT in the, not only the bridge work, but a number of projects we're in planning stage. We're in the planning stages for future projects. It takes years of commitment of time and money to be able to position yourself to take advantage of grants, which is a big thing we're working on right now. We're trying to take advantage of any grant applications because the millions of dollars it takes to invest in one of these infrastructure projects, if we can get 25% or 50%, I know our engineering department is working all the time to try and find some of that grant money. So we're out there beating the bushes to try and get that done. So let me talk about our service department. Ron McKinley. Ron McKinley is the director of the Public Service Department. He became director in July of 2021. In the short time he's been here, he has taken a strategic approach to delivering outstanding and some would even say unparalleled city services. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron McKinley.
As service director, I am proud to lead a dedicated team of professionals who work hard to elevate the quality of life for our residents. Independence is in a class of its own when it comes to exceptional city services. Our mission statement is simple: to be a premier service department by enhancing efficiencies and productivity while being economically responsible and technologically advanced. I am extremely lucky to have a team here in the service department. Marie Pinzotto is our office coordinator. She handles all the calls and emails from all the residents on a day-to-day basis. I also have Paul Porch, who is my assistant, and he helps me from scheduling the men to overseeing all the crews. Tom Avsek has been here for about 20 years. He helps with the sewer crew. We also have Eddie Tominski, who's been here for about 50 years, and he is extremely invaluable with all of his knowledge that he's acquired in 50 years. And then we have a new addition, Tim Young. He is our fleet foreman, and he helps us to revolutionize the garage and keep abreast on all the preventative maintenance of our trucks and machines so that we can prolong the longevity of our equipment. Technology is critical for the service department because we are a strategic operation in everything we do here. We have a strategy and plan to handle most everything, but we also must be able to respond quickly to emergencies. For example, backed up sewers, flash flooding, like the one that happened minutes before home days opened, or down trees on power lines or across the roadways. The city has 67 miles of sidewalk and 137 lane miles of roads. Here are just a few of the ways the service department has improved efficiencies. For example, the chipper. We now use computer-generated routes for the most efficient way to get every stop. Winter is right around the corner. Let's talk about snowplows. The combination of GPS and front-facing cameras inside the plow trucks gives me real-time data of what has been plowed and when. Senior rubbish. We now do the entire weekly route that used to take 40 hours in 20 hours. Leaf program used to follow the rubbish route. This way set us back 5 days during the season. Maps and routes were created, and we made up the 5-day setback in 4 days, and were able to get back on schedule. Special pickups and household hazardous waste. We now use computer-generated routes for the most efficient way to get every stop. Grass cutting routes used to take 10 to 12 days. We now complete it in 5 to 6. Watering flowers used to take 3 days to water all the flowers on the city property. However, after we retrofitted a truck in-house and created another water truck, we can now complete the watering route in 1 day. And finally, the city has invested millions of dollars in service equipment. We take a proactive approach to maintain the equipment in-house to maximize our investment. I'm Ron McKinley, and I'm proud to be the service director here for the City of Independence. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Ron. Ron talked a lot about technology within the service department. Let me introduce Jim Gibbs, who oversees the city's IT department. Jim's going to explain what the city is doing to utilize technology to streamline our operations and protect ourselves from cyber threats.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. What a great lunch that was, wasn't it? The mayor called me, and when he called me, he said he'd like to have me talk about IT at the State of the City. And he said, and I wrote this down just to get this right, Jim, I want you to say a couple things about technology projects at the city. But, and he continued, if you put these people to sleep with your technical mumbo-jumbo, I will make sure you are on the cleanup crew after the next dog swim in the park. So, we're going to jump right into this so that I don't end up on the pooper scooper crew. So let's talk about cybersecurity. As much as I like to kid around, we take cybersecurity very seriously. There aren't many processes at the city that I can't think of that don't involve managing digital data in one manner or another. Finance Director Blaze isn't in his office moving gold coins around his desk to pay bills. You know, he's moving numbers around a spreadsheet, around his screen, because information is the currency of the 21st century. So we take it very seriously. So there are a number of projects we've implemented in the past year and will be implementing in the coming months that up our overall cybersecurity prowess. By the end of the year, we will be implementing two-factor authentication for all the remote access for employees and for the server access. This is like the same type of thing that you'll do when you log into your bank and then you use your username and password, and then you also get a text message on your phone. That's the two factors. That's what we're going to be using here, implementing at the city as well, to again, keep that information secure. Another important upgrade we've done over the past year is making sure that all 120 computers that my department manages here at the city have at least Windows 10 on them. And one quick note for all of you out there, as far as just quick cybersecurity notes for all of you, as you come through the holidays, find your technical resource in your family, maybe it's you or your daughter or your granddaughter, and have them tell you if you are on Windows 10 or something modern for, for your Apple devices, because that alone can be one of the greatest things that you can do to keep yourself secure at home. Moving on from Windows 10 and cybersecurity, one of the major projects that your service director here already touched on was the implementation of the Tyler software package. Your service teams are now equipped with cellular tablets that will allow them to receive new service requests while out in the field. This will improve response time, accuracy, and decrease the time and gas that it costs to make return trips back and forth to your service department to get their next assignments. Departments will also be able to communicate via one tracking system, both internal and external, meaning you guys will be able to submit messages through websites of problems you're having, and those will end up in the same pool of work orders that we're working with internally. And we can see a complete view of what's going on in the city. 24 hours a day, and you guys will have access to track all of that as well. So I want to pause there for a moment. There's a lot of work that went into implementing this Tyler project, a lot of work that's still going into it by all the departments, but I definitely want to recognize my department, Dawn and Matt, who have done an amazing job implementing that and working with all the, learning how all the departments interact. So I appreciate them very much. Finally, in a post-COVID world, it was important that we move forward with city business at our public meetings, but that we also maintain, for those of us who still need to maintain social distancing, to be able to do so and be involved in the governing process. So we've turned the council chambers into a truly hybrid meeting space where attendees can participate via Zoom, and the entire meeting is broadcast live on YouTube. And you can go there and watch any of those meetings at your convenience. Matter of fact, this entire program that we're putting on right now will also be posted on that YouTube channel within the coming weeks. So with that, Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you.
Here's my gloves, Jim. Okay, let's go, Jim. Nope, the pool's shut down. You don't have to worry about it. Thank you, Jim. I want to wrap things up by talking about two departments that are housed in this building, the Community Services Department and the Recreation Department. But first, I want to acknowledge the passing of former Community Services Director Marilyn Sinek, who served our community for so many years. Her dedication and commitment to our residents was second to none. In memory, we planted a tree last year at the Civic Center parking lot. Rest in peace, Marilyn. Many of you probably know our next speaker, Community Services Emily Thomas. Emily joined the city last August after working for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Emily?
Thank you, Mayor. I am fortunate enough to have had the opportunity to serve as Community Services Director since August of last year. And I know I didn't have the opportunity to meet Marilyn, but that she was very much loved by everyone in this room and in this community. So it's been an honor to kind of try to fill in her shoes. In addition to myself, there are two members of the team that I want to recognize specifically. First is Amber Vaverka. We had the opportunity to promote her from office coordinator to assistant director. And then we also brought on board Jennifer Zisk. Yes, round of applause, absolutely. And we also had the opportunity to bring on Jennifer Zisk Vitron as our community resource manager and licensed social worker. I do want to make sure that I also acknowledge our entire team, our adult program coordinator, our youth coordinators, assistant youth coordinators, our tot room folks, our before schools counselors, our after school counselors, our summer camp counselors, our front desk team members, our kitchen manager, our transport driver. There are a lot of people on this community services team that serve our community day in and day out and deserve a round of applause as well. So they're over there. We really all do take the mission of enriching the lives of residents to heart every single day. So much so that in January of this past year, the majority of our full-time team, as well as our core administrative staff, became youth and or mental health first aid certified to better serve our community. So you think about this as not just like your typical first aid with bandages and things like that, but how we can better care for everyone's mental health. In early 2021, Community Services and Rec partnered together to send out a community survey to better understand resident satisfaction with our facilities, our program offerings, as well as to gain insight on how we can improve. And so what we learned from that, first and foremost, is that if you live in Independence, you love Independence. You love everything that the city has to offer. But with that said, and Mayor, I'm going to steal your line from later, we can do better. And so we have an opportunity to elevate our current program offerings as well as expand our offerings, especially to middle school aged youth, high school aged youth, and young and active adults. We know that seniors don't like being called seniors. You shared that with us. You are active people in our community and want to be treated as such, and so we're here to serve you in that respect. Some of the things that have come out of the pandemic and over the last couple of years are our community craft fair, goat yoga, drive-through, lunches, citywide garage sales, Funtastic Friday glow parties, preschool, more preschool programs, mindfulness activities, yoga, and everything in between. And those are just some of our favorite and most well-received programs after the last couple of years. And I want to make sure everybody understands how proud we are of the fact that we actually offer more to our community now than we did prior to the pandemic. So the pandemic did not slow us down, it only actually fast-forwarded us. Thank you. And as we continue to increase and grow our programs, activities, and events, we have to work to ensure that this facility supports that growth. And so starting slowly but surely, recently in the fall, we did new atrium rugs. We repainted these banquet rooms prior to this event today. We're excited to share that we have new atrium furniture coming in November, so that'll be great. We need some upgrades out there. And then the biggest thing to come will be our kitchen renovation. So there's a video that's going to play over this, and I'll just talk. But our current kitchen, we've essentially outgrown it. And so two of the biggest things with this kitchen renovation is going to be the installation of a dishwasher because it allows us to become more sustainable. And the second thing is, if you've ever been in the kitchen, there's these two walls and this really tiny island in between. But we want to actually take down those walls, build a huge island that will allow us to invite the community back into the kitchen. So we'll have an opportunity to bring youth in to teach them how to cook and to bring adults in to help them refine their skills. We could quite literally talk all day long. I mean, I could keep you here for another 2 hours if you really want to talk about our programs and activities and our events in this facility. But really the most important thing that we do day in and day out is build relationships with each and every one of you. Just to reference back to Jim Gibbs, I'm also Bill Griffith's IT person as well, so he can give you a recommendation if you need any assistance there. Happy to help. And so in discussing the importance of relationships, I would be remiss not to mention the Independence local schools. Ben, Jamie, Sandy, members of the board, the way that we're able to provide continuity of care for children and families in our community is truly unmatched. So as we continue to grow our programs, upgrade our facility, and continue to build relationships, it's a really exciting time for community services, the Civic Center, and our community as a whole. So I hope you are just as excited about the future as we are. Thank you.
And if you haven't figured it out, most of the directors that are coming up here are relatively new. There's just not enough time to let every director talk. So we tried to focus on who's new to the team and let them learn you and you can learn about them. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the tech services department, building department, engineering department, all the various departments that work together to create synergy for the betterment of everyone here. So just to mention that. But thank you, Emily. The Recreation Department has always operated in high gear under the leadership of Tom Walchanowitz. Here are just a few of the projects completed since 2020. Fitness equipment, indoor and outdoor pools, Liberty Playground were all upgraded. A new fountain was installed in Elmwood Pond thanks to a strong partnership with Kiwanis. Kiwanis is in its 70th year in the city. No single organization has contributed or given back to the city of Independence like Kiwanis. To all the Kiwanians, congratulations. 70 down, 70 more to go. Big round of applause for Kiwanians. The new gym floor was installed at Elmwood Recreation Building, and the bocce ball courts were upgraded. Much of the work was done in-house. Something unique that people aren't really aware of is that a lot of the things we do with our own people. We're such a talented group of people in the recreation department and the service department and tech services. By blending their expertise together, we're able to do a lot of the work internally, and we just use contractors as needed. So hats off to our teams, the sophistication and the talent they have that they're able to share every day by some of these projects. It's amazing. The new splash pad opened up this spring just in time for the warm weather. And I can tell you that the youth of our community, the kids, hundreds of kids thoroughly enjoyed the experience there, and it's going to be there for many years. But not just the kids. The parents enjoyed it too. They got to sit in a relaxed environment and let the kids just have at it. And it really worked well. So with that, the Recreation Department has added a number of programs. In other words, next Saturday is Recycling Day. So for the residents, next Saturday will be Recycling Day. Some of the other projects that are in the works are expanded security cameras, expanded in phase 2 of the bocce ball court. We'll put a canopy over it, and a dog park. So we're working constantly trying to figure out new and exciting opportunities within the city for you, our residents, and for our business community. In closing, I want to thank Council. Without a cooperative relationship with City Council, none of this stuff gets done. They hold the money bag, and between the Finance Director, City Council, and the administration, we do some tremendous things for you, both the residents and the business community. The city also appreciates everyone at the local schools. Everyone, you've heard the department heads talk about the relationship with the schools. We've had a reliable, dependable relationship, and I'm excited to hear, and I let the department head said, keep talking about our relationship with the schools, because the youth, we're training them, just like we're building a bench within the departments, we're also training our youth to be future leaders. So I'm pleased, I'm just really thankful that we have such a good relationship. We're also blessed to have so many community and faith-based organizations that support our residents through various programs and outreach all year long. Thank you. Michelle's a perfect example. She not only comes and says prayers at the council meetings, she is every place in this community trying to help reach out and be a support and network for those in need. So thank you very much. Now, you can see from today's program that your dedicated staff or team is creative and ingenious as they deal with today's challenges and reach at future opportunities. I'd also be remiss if I didn't recognize Ala Laura, our communication director. Ala, and how about a round of applause for putting this all together? And my administrative team, Dar keeps me in line. She tells me where to be at what time. You can see that this community is made up of generous and giving people. I can count all of you. I can't count anybody that's not part of being generous and thoughtful, caring, and kind within this community when given the opportunity. And that's what we're trying to do. Give everyone the opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life. Make everybody the opportunity to give back, to do something, as I've witnessed through conversations with people in Florida. We have to all do that, and that's where Independence stands out. We are a blessed community in that respect for the generosity and the giving attitude of everybody in this room and within the community. I can't tell you that how honored and proud I am to serve as your mayor. I thank you for the privilege and the opportunity. God bless everyone, and thank you. Now, okay, we're getting ready to go. But before you go, everyone can take their cups home. That's yours. And the placemats are yours also. And pick up your cup. Who's got a red dot underneath their cup? Russell's got one. Whoever has the red dot, you get the mum. To all the directors, thank you. To council, thank you. All the residents, thank you. And our business community, thank you and God bless.